day, my friends. Let's learn something new today.
The present perfect is a little like a time traveler in English grammar. It has the unique ability to connect the past with the present, creating a seamless link between what has happened and what is happening now. This tense is incredibly versatile and is used in various contexts to convey different nuances of time and experience. It connects something that happened in the past to the present moment. Think of it as a bridge that spans across time, allowing us to bring past actions, events, or states into our current reality. This connection is crucial for expressing experiences, changes, and ongoing situations. Imagine a bridge stretching from a past event to right now. That's the present perfect. This bridge is not just a simple structure. It's a dynamic pathway that helps us understand and communicate the continuity and relevance of past events in our present lives. It's used for actions or states that started in the past and continue to the present, or for experiences up to now. For example, I have lived here for 5 years indicates that the living started in the past and is still true now. Similarly, she has read that book tells us about an experience that is relevant to the present. Don't worry, it's not as complicated as it sounds. Once you get the hang of it, using the present perfect becomes second nature. It's all about understanding the connection between past and present and how they influence each other. The present perfect is used to talk about experiences. These experiences are often unspecified in time because the exact timing is not as important as the fact that they happened. For instance, I have visited Paris focuses on the experience of visiting rather than when it occurred. We don't say when the experience happened. It's not important. What matters is the experience itself and its impact on the present. This is why we use the present perfect to highlight the significance of past events without getting bogged down by specific dates or times. We use the present perfect to give news. When sharing recent developments or updates, the present perfect helps us convey that these events are relevant and have an impact on the current situation. For example, they have announced a new policy indicates that the announcement is recent and significant. We use the present perfect with just, already, and yet. These words add specific nuances to our sentences. Just indicates something happened a short time ago, already suggests it happened sooner than expected, and yet is used in questions and negatives to talk about something that hasn't happened but is expected. For example, I have just finished my homework. She has already left. And have you finished your project yet? All use the present perfect to convey different shades of meaning. Forming the present perfect is easier than you might think. It's a tense that connects the past with the present, showing that an action or state has relevance now. This makes it incredibly useful in everyday conversations and writing. The magic formula is have or has plus the past participle. This simple structure allows you to convey a lot of information with just a few words. For instance, you can talk about experiences, changes, and accomplishments. For example, I have eaten breakfast. Simple, right? This sentence tells us that the action of eating breakfast happened at some point before now and is relevant to the present moment. It's a great way to share what you've done without specifying exactly when. Have is used with I, you, we, and they, while has is for he, she, and it. This distinction is important because it helps clarify who is performing the action. For example, she has finished her homework versus they have finished their homework. The past participle is often formed by adding ed to the verb, but some verbs are irregular, so it's good to learn them. Regular verbs like walk become walked, but irregular verbs like go become gone. Knowing these forms will make your English more fluent and natural. To make the negative, we use not. This is straightforward. Just add not after have or has. For example, I have not seen that movie, or he has not finished his project. The negative of have is haven't. This contraction is commonly used in spoken and informal written English. It makes your sentences shorter and more conversational. For instance, I haven't been to that restaurant yet. The negative of has is hasn't. Similarly, this contraction is used for he, she, and it. For example, She hasn't called me back, or it hasn't rained all week. We make questions in the present perfect with have or has. Simply invert the subject and the auxiliary verb. For example, have you finished your homework? Or has she arrived yet? This structure is very useful for checking if something has happened. We make short answers with have or has. For instance, if someone asks, have you eaten? You can simply reply, yes, I have, or no, I haven't. This keeps the conversation flowing smoothly and naturally. How long have you is a common question using the present perfect. This tense is essential in English as it connects the past with the present, showing that an action or state started at some point in the past and is still relevant or ongoing now. It's how we ask about the duration of an action or state that began in the past and continues to the present. This is particularly useful in conversations where you want to understand someone's experience or the length of time they've been involved in an activity. For example, how long have you lived in London? This question is not just about the city, but about the experiences, memories, and life events that have occurred during that time. This question wants to know for how long you have been living in London up until now. It seeks to understand the duration of your stay, which can reveal a lot about your familiarity with the city and your personal journey. It is important to use for or since with the present perfect. These words help to specify the exact duration or starting point of the action or state, making your communication clear and precise. We use for to talk about a period of time. For example, you might say, I have lived in London for 5 years. This indicates the total duration of your stay. We use since to talk about a point in time. For instance, I have lived in London since 2016. This tells us the exact starting point of your stay, giving a clear timeline of your experience. Understanding the difference between for and since is crucial for mastering the present perfect tense. It allows you to convey the right information about the duration and starting point of actions or states, making your English more accurate and effective. So, next time you ask or answer the question, how long have you? Remember to use the present perfect tense with for or since. This will help you communicate more clearly and understand others better, enhancing your overall English proficiency. Let's see some examples of how long have you? Questions and answers. Question: how long have you been a teacher? Answer: I've been a teacher for 5 years. Question: how long have you known your best friend? Answer: I've known her since we were children. Notice how the answers use for with a period of time, like 5 years, and since with a specific point in time, like childhood. Section 5. Tricky terrain. Common pitfalls to avoid. One common mistake is using the present simple, like, how long do you live here, instead of how long have you lived here. Remember, we are talking about something that started in the past and continues to now. Another mistake is using the wrong preposition with for and since. Remember to use the present perfect with for and since. Don't use a simple past tense verb. We use the present perfect for an action which began in the past and still continues. Section 6. Practice makes perfect. Test your understanding. Ready to practice? Try completing these sentences. 1. How long have you studied English? 2. I have known my best friend for 10 years. 3. She has lived in Paris since 2010. Remember to use the present perfect correctly. Think about for and since. Section 7. Beyond how long? Exploring further uses. While how long have you is a frequent question, remember that the present perfect has other uses too. It's used to talk about experiences without mentioning a specific time for unfinished actions, and with words like just, already, and yet. The present perfect is also used with today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, etc., when these periods of time are not finished at the time of speaking. Section 8. The present perfect continuous, a close relative. The present perfect continuous is like a close cousin. It's formed with have has been plus ing and emphasizes the duration of an action. For example, I have been studying English for 3 hours. We often use the present perfect continuous for more temporary actions and situations. Section 9. Conclusion. Your journey with the present perfect. Mastering the present perfect, especially with "how long have you," opens up a world of possibilities in your English conversations. Remember the simple formula. Practice forming questions and answers, and soon you'll be using it with confidence. The present perfect is an important tense, so practice it until you are comfortable with it. Good luck with your English studies.